Hey, this is Ish, and in today's talk, I'll be going over gratitude and its link to leadership and also how it improves your charisma as well. Now, if you want to learn how to practice gratitude, you can check out my other videos, which are titled The Power of Gratitude Explained and also the how gratitude translates to a feeling of abundance. But in this talk specifically, I'll go over how when you do practice gratitude and feel grateful for what you have, this can actually change the way other people see you and also your experience of life as well, and makes you be seen as a leader, and it also increases your charisma. So, how does this work? Well, let's go over how practicing gratitude influences our leadership skills. So, when we practice gratitude, this releases serotonin, and serotonin is the neurotransmitter which is responsible for making us feel more calm, less depressed. It gives us a feeling of well being and gives us a feeling of pride. And serotonin is often nicknamed as the quote unquote leadership hormone by many researchers, speakers, and business schools alike. So, what Dr. Jordan Peterson had found out, and he's a very popular psychology professor nowadays, is that he did a study on lobsters and he found that the lobsters in a hierarchy, the ones that are the leaders of the entire group had the highest levels of serotonin, while those who were on the bottom of the hierarchy were had the lowest levels of serotonin and were very stressed out all the time. And it'd be interesting to see the same things in humans, but what we can observe through our own eyes and through observation is that when we look into people who are leaders, we notice that they have a sense of calm about them. They are pretty just relaxed, they're happy with themselves, and they seem to be comfortable in their skins. And this is very different from someone who is just not doing so well and is really struggling and is stressed out all the time. They seem to emanate a lack. And this leads me to my next point is that one of the benefits of practicing gratitude is that you feel that you have enough and you don't need anything from the environment. And this actually replicates in a weird way someone who, quote unquote, has everything in the material world. So someone who has all the material success in the world, they have, a lot of money, all their basic needs taken care of. They have tons of friends that like them. They walk around very stress free, have a lot of opportunities available, and they're enjoying their life. Well, these types of people would simply just walk around the world through a sense of ease and wouldn't really worry about many things. And this is a quality that, say, the super successful people have in the world, like the top, 0.0001% of people, where they're completely taken out of the game of trying to survive and trying to prove themselves because they've made it so far that they're on this own category where they don't need to really try. Now, what is amazing about gratitude is that you don't need any material things in the world to practice it. You can simply be grateful for whatever you have right now, even if it's not much. And what is fascinating is that you can replicate their way of being through practicing gratitude because you just have enough. So, what is amazing is that you don't have to be a billionaire or royalty to be seen as a leader. All you have to do is be fulfilled within and not need anything by practicing gratitude. And you can actually feel the same way that a king or a queen would, or a billionaire would, because you just feel that you have everything and you're contented from within. And this is actually where the wisdom of all the spiritual traditions come in, is because a lot of the spiritual masters talk about contentment in some form. And they teach us that, yes, you can actually, in fact, experience a level of happiness and satisfaction with less and less in the world. So your criteria in order for you to be happy is actually a lot less. And as a result, you can get these, let's just say, brain changes or physiological effects that come with what we can call being quote unquote high status or being a leader in an environment. So you can replicate that. And this is actually a quality that we can observe in very highly charismatic people that seem to draw a crowd wherever they go. They are well liked. People want to be around them. And if you notice this, they seem to be very grateful for whatever they have. They walk through the world with ease. They enjoy their life. They're just laid back. They're happy with whatever they have. And these people may not necessarily be hyper successful or ultra rich or have all the possessions, but internally they're very satisfied. And this is where the real magic comes from. Now, the next point about gratitude and leadership, this is actually talked about by many researchers and behavioral experts. So Chase Hughes is a teacher that I like following, and one of his teachings is that he has five pillars of authority, which he talks about, which where he actually trains CIA agents and special ops people, which is very interesting. But he found that there are five different trainings that you can take on to improve your level of authority. And these pillars of authority are confidence, discipline, leadership, gratitude, which we're talking about here, and enjoyment. And what I like about his teachings is that he breaks this up into different levels. So you can actually level up your gratitude. And as you do this, you can actually improve your leadership qualities and your influence in the world. So how interesting is that? And I think what is really fascinating is that because he breaks it up into levels, you actually get this idea that this is something that you can train and improve upon rather than having a fixed mindset where you think to yourself, oh, I'm a leader or I'm not, or I'm charismatic or I'm not, or I can be happy or I'm not. Instead, you can train these capacities within you and actually watch those changes take fold in your life. So, as you continue to practice gratitude more and more throughout your life, you'll find that you, again, need less in the world. You feel happy from within. And this gratitude is actually contagious. So, I've actually noticed that the most charismatic people that I met in my life not just had this on autopilot. I'm sure they didn't read any self-help books, but they would just walk around saying thank you often. They would say, yeah, this is awesome. This is great. They would, even something as small as drink a cup of coffee, they would be like, oh, this cup of coffee is amazing. Thank you. Or they would talk to you and say how awesome you are and look for the good qualities within you. And everything in their world just seemed like a positive feedback loop. And as a result of simply being in this state all the time, they naturally drew people to them. And they also were seen unconsciously as a leader, even if they didn't have the title of being a leader in whatever group they were in. And one of the big reasons why they were able to do this is that we are drawn to those that emit positivity. It's kind of like a light that lights up the room. And we want to be more closer, at least in our social skills, to a light than a black hole that kind of sucks the energy out and is very negative. And this is, again, a skill that we can practice. So how interesting is that? You can actually change your level of leadership by practicing gratitude. So I hope you like this talk on gratitude and leadership and how it influences your charisma as well. All very fascinating things. And ultimately, with practicing gratitude, the reward is gratitude itself and the contentment, but it's actually just nice to know that some other things can also follow as well. And not to get attached to, say, leadership or titles or things like that, but it's just a nice thing you can observe on your path and your journey in life. So thank you again for listening.